Hello guys, Eyeduka is back, and today I'm going to show you a different game that I was playing some time ago. I actually enjoyed it a lot, it's really fun. The game is Valheim, as you can do amazing stuff in this game actually. I played it some time ago, before I was playing Thor Liberty anyway. Might as well just have a quick tour just to show you around the different things I've built in the game. And also I'm planning to start a new series where I'm going to be making some interesting builds. I'm going to be posting videos from time to time whenever there isn't much going on in Thor Liberty. So let's just go in. So I'm gonna go to this character, and I'm gonna use this world. It's called Epic World. That's the name of the seed. You can pretty much create any of those seeds yourself. Just even for solo play, it doesn't matter. It could be absolutely identical. I'm gonna use a full hammer mod, which allows us to just build for free, have passive enemies, so on and so on. I mean, you can actually adjust some of those things with cheats as well. The game allows you to use cheats. So I'm just gonna go in. So before we get into it, we're gonna just set up a couple of cheats. Why we use cheats? Basically, it allows us to just have fun in the game and not worry about the actual survival experience. Now, of course, you could just play regularly and, you know, it's just more fun, especially with friends. But I haven't had the chance to play too much with friends, just a little bit anyway. So when it comes to crafting, I would rather just use some cheats and, you know, build stuff just for myself, just for fun anyway. Dev commands is to basically enable cheats in the game. Environment clear, that's just to make it so that we don't have fog and stuff like that. Why I use this is because sometimes it actually drops the frame rate. This is the only reason I removed it. It's actually more interesting to have it on. But the next thing we use is TOD 0.5, which is basically time of day, and 0.5 is something like noon, midday. That's it, just so we can see more clearly. Now, as you can see, the frame rates are actually pretty low because I have built a lot of complex things around here, so we're gonna get into this in a moment. The next thing I'll use is debug mode, which allows us to just craft things, you know, pretty for whatever reason. Right now I'm just gonna have a tour anyway, so we're not gonna be crafting too much, but I'll just unlock them anyway. God is to make us invincible, so we don't die from anything. Even though enemies are passive, you can still die from fall damage. And we also use infinite stamina, but you know, those things are mostly whenever you're actually building. That's just to give you some idea. That was my main base for a while. Just look at the map. Actually, this is I named them. I named all the bases with different names because I have quite a lot of bases in this game on this world. I've spent maybe more than 600 hours just playing this game anyway. So that's just one of the territories that I have covered up. I marked some of the spots, you know, dungeons, stuff like that. Whenever we have resources, and we look all the way around, and you can see we have marked a lot of other things as well. It was massive for it basically, and I also used the cheat to unlock the whole map. Obviously, it's not supposed to look like that. With that being said, I'm just gonna show you around. This is kind of a portal area. We're gonna get in here in a minute just to get to the other bases. That's kind of a working station area. It's pretty crowded. Like, this is not the best way to do it, obviously, but that was back in the days. Then we also have the upper section, which, you know, there's just more crafting stations basically. It doesn't really look that nice. I really didn't spend too much time on a wall anyway. And then there's small farming here, also the windmills, bees. This small area here is for chickens, of course, and that's the main building basically. You also have this section here, just a wall anyway. So with the main building, this is something like a storage area basically. Looks pretty tidy, pretty nice. I also hit the signs so you can't accidentally interact with the signs. They're underneath. And cover text. Also, the lighting comes from the dwarven circlet. If people don't know, you can actually use it as a light source instead of using it as a helmet as well. Then we go inside. That's kind of a longhouse, like cornered longhouse. We got more chests in here. That's like a kitchen station, like kitchen area. That's like the main area with all the highest comfort that I got here. Actually, you can probably go a bit higher as well. And here, that's like the workstation areas. We have some workstations where you're crafting things. And now we're gonna go to the portal area, and you see we have a lot of different portals with different locations. So I'm gonna start around, show you different things. So this one is kind of not a big deal. That's like a small dark tower. It's actually not really a dark tower. This is a completely abandoned base. Just looking around inside, as you can see, there's not much going on. Pretty empty at this point. Looks pretty big as well. So we're gonna go outside just to get an idea. Going right here, and then so this is kind of the main building. This is for mostly for That's the kitchen right here. You have some walls. That's kind of the working station area. Well, kind of the workstation and the factory area. I also made it somewhat good looking with trees and stuff like that. The wall is actually not super bad. The defensive wall, you see, and you have a farm as well, pretty decent, pretty good. That's actually the area with the pigs. We got them as well, and we have covered up some of this area as well. Around, got this this area just so that we have some defenses as well. Going all the way around, you see we got some pretty nice wall on the side. On the way down here, got these other small houses as well. It's not a big deal, but it's okay. Going inside. Then going right here, that's like abandoned project, obviously. There's some walls over there and there. And then we have this is sort of a harbor. It's like a docking station in a way. Again, nothing big. It's not a big deal. It's a small one. It's good enough. That's also whenever you would transport materials, you can just use this temporal storage area as well. And that's how it looks from this angle as well. We also have a basement, which is pretty much underneath. Check it out. Going. Oh, that's not the basement. Wait a second. It's been a long time. There should be a basement here. Or maybe no. I was almost certain there was a basement, but maybe I was wrong. Well, there's no basement here. Technically, inside the kitchen there is a small basement. You can check that out. Everything's empty and abandoned. Well, actually not empty. You got some materials in here. Yeah. Then you go all the way down. That's kind of a basement. Yeah. Fermenters. Yeah, this is where we make potions as well. So that's this area. We're gonna check some other good-looking base. So next one, let's just go here. That's the cottage. So that looks like an abandoned project, actually, if you think about it. See, that's like a small house here. Completely forgot about this. We're not really doing anything here. It's actually not too bad, but yeah. Same stuff here. You see, just didn't finish that, basically. So yeah, we got these as well. No big deal. Here's where we are. Okay. So the next area would be Mount Cabin, which is kind of a small base near the mountain. Yeah, that's the inside. It's not a big deal, actually. But that's looking nice as well. You have a second floor, just a little tiny second floor. Then going outside, you see that's how it looks. It's really weird. This is one of the first role projects, like nothing too good if you think about it. Very basic looking thing. So let's go to the next area. So we also have this one. That's not exactly that big. It's not a crazy thing. It's called the Cloud Farm. Basically the cloud, I think it's called cloud mushrooms, are things that you can't really plant, but you can just find a lot of them in kind of a close proximity. So I decided to make this kind of a farm for them. You have this small grass. Actually, it's pretty rough, obviously. That's just a farm. It's not actually a base. And I made it because you see, you have this small patch here. Then around here, we have another one that's quite a lot. Then around here, we have another one. Then it's all covered all around the sides with even more, but it didn't really go crazy. Now, the more interesting thing about this base, obviously, it's very simple, is this pure. That you know, you have this pure, which also has a lox farm, by the way, just a little bit. These are kind of natural formations in Valheim, and I decided why not just build something. You can use it as ground and build as high as the actual pure. So we're going around here, as you see. You see the stairs. Also, as you go higher, it actually turns out that they'll be covered with snow as well, which is really interesting. And there's a kind of a house on top of it. It looks very weird, but at the same time, it's actually interesting. Going around here just to get an idea. It's pretty empty at this point. It didn't really play too much in here as well. But yeah, that's what it is. Now here, we'll go to the fortress. So this is actually one of my first base right here. Technically, that's the starting location, as you can see. I've just moved around here, just playing around. And this was really one of my first builds. It's very rough, very weird looking thing. It's old base, yeah, pretty much completely abandoned this, but it's actually very interesting the way I made it. And that's actually the secondary one. The very first one is down there. We're gonna go down there as well. And it looks pretty rough on the edges. You see how it looks. That's basically the top floor. You have multiple areas you can move around from. You can go down here. That was the kind of the sleeping area, and go around here. It looks pretty big if you think about it. This is very weird how I built these things almost inside the actual area. And you know, it's really not the best looking thing. Completely abandoned as well. There is an underground section here, which is for cooking, also very rough. Then going around here, you also have balcony areas as well, which looks pretty cool. Now, you see, it looks very interesting the way I made it. You're gonna go outside and just to get an idea of it. That's another balcony area, and this is the stairs going all the way down. And that's kind of a small yard in front of it. And now, I'm just gonna go higher to see. I've raised that ground artificially just to get this kind of look. And then I built the house on top of it, which makes it look a bit more interesting. Also, we have this crazy trenches with water all around the place, or at least to some extent. Going around. Not a lot of trees as well, so it's like crazy things. You can barely see stuff. But that's from top. It looks super weird, as you can see. But once again, it's a massive building anyway. Then go here, we have... Actually, there is a small forest that we made here. It's this area around the base. Crazy, man. Oh, it's right here. So this, you see there's a small fence. I made this just for foresting, basically. And I was planting trees all over the place, right? And obviously now it's cut. And this is abandoned project once again. I have these quite a few times, in quite a few areas as well. Then this is the actual main base, the first main base that I've built. And the entrance would be from around here. There's a bridge, there's this kind of a small river that I made. Then going in, it looks very, very wild. It's like completely abandoned. Made it look like that even furthermore after I left, just to get the interesting vibe of how this was the first base and it's completely abandoned now. So you have this another bridge. It's like a small pond. That was something like a storage area. You can go inside, you can see top of it. And then I plant these trees and they're going all over the place, so it's going crazy. Then this is kind of the main area. Got some workstations, and now this is the dockyard as well. You see it's completely abandoned right now, obviously. Got the second floor as well. And the frames are super low because we have tons of shit in here. Over 10,000 instances, but it really depends. They have different impacts. I'm going around here. This is kind of a farm. That was something like a farm. You also have a small tower over there. You can see. So everything's covered with trees as well. Yeah. And then, oh, there's some pigs as well. Boars. And that's the main house, actually. The main house is pretty small, think about it. Going in and you see, there it is. It's like that small. You have this kind of a room in here. Yeah, very first thing. And that's why we have this. This is only available during events. I can't really build this unless I'm using cheats now. This was generally built during, I think it's like during Christmas anyway. There's a second floor. Also, everything looks just so weird and empty. So let's get back to the main area with the portals. So I'm gonna go upstairs now and show you a couple of other things. So we have the hillside, which is another kind of entry-level base. I just built this maybe a bit after the other one. I had some interesting ideas for this one, but I completely abandoned it as well. So that's like a massive storage area over here. Also pretty weird stuff going on. There's no basement here. That's like the actual area where we smelt things, but also looks super weird. Like I was trying to make it indoor, but obviously it doesn't work like that. And I was still learning the game anyway, so this looks super broken, super weird, like a working station. It just doesn't feel right, honestly. But then we go to the second floor as well, which looks slightly better, but also pretty basic as well. And then we have actually a third floor, which is kind of a rooftop right here. There's nothing really interesting going on around here, except we got the ward, and that's about it. Now, the more interesting thing about this base is the way I made connection between this and a different structure. There is something like a yard, and there's a farm as well. But this is the more interesting thing. Once again, abandoned project over there. So you can go on the lower level from this door. You go out here. This is kind of a docking station with the ship. But then if you go upstairs, which you have access from this these stairs, but also from the second floor, you go on this bridge, and you go across this this river. You get to something what was supposed to be a secondary building on top of it, which is gonna be more interesting, but again, abandoned. And that's about it, as you can see. Nothing else is going on here. And now I'm gonna show you this one right here. It's called High Tower. This is actually a very interesting tower. It's again very rough project. Those are the first things that I built, so they're not super good, but they're only getting better now. So this was supposed to be a round tower. I tried to make it as round as possible. Of course, that's really difficult in this game. You only have these options. And you have different floors, by the way, different stages. So this is kind of it's one of the main areas with like workstations, stuff like that. And then we go down actually. And see, this is kind of a sleeping area. You also have balconies every here and there. Gonna get to that later. And then we go all the way to the first stage, which is kind of a storage area, something like that. And now we're going out. I've managed to make something like a road covered with a lot of trees. So there it is. And this goes all the way here. We're gonna go to the entrance right somewhere around here. As you can see, this is kind of the where the road starts. And also there's this small kind of a super entry level base that I made. That was probably before that anyway, just to get started. And it doesn't look good anyway. It looks very weird. But then we're going up just to show you the actual tower from a different point of view. And that's how it looks. It's pretty small tower, as you can see. But you know, we didn't really have a lot of knowledge back then. This is how it looks. It's very weird. You have 3 floors and that's about it. And then you can actually leave outside from there. That's the door. And from here we have access to the mountains actually. So that's kind of a decent transition between the lower level of the biome and then going all the way up with this road. So yeah, that was kind of cool back then. So I've got a couple of things. Let's go to this one. It's called Bridge Base. That was kind of an abandoned project once again, but it's actually a bit better looking. So what I wanted to make here is basically, looking at it from this angle, I just wanted to make a bridge, a massive bridge with actual gates, and to actually have a base on top of it. So use it mostly just for a base to block the road. To have that kind of a theme, kind of a watch post or something. But again, it's abandoned. I didn't really finish it. I didn't really add too many things inside, so yeah. But you do get it. You can actually go underneath with the ships, with these bolts. I've tested it out. It's wide enough. That was pretty difficult to make anyway the first time. And we have this gate here. That's the actual main area, which you can see is empty because I didn't finish it. There's another gate. Then you actually have these lower levels when it's like kind of a you can do like collect things when you go on the road with ships. Here you have this entrance. Then this is kind of a this area right here. And of course here also the same thing, going these stairs. You have this gate over here. And that's about it. It's not super special, but it's kind of a good idea. So we're going down here. And now we're kind of getting to the big guns right now. I'm going to show you some really awesome things. 2 more basically unfinished thing. Well, this one was finished. It's called the bunker. But I built this one before the Ashland update. And it was kind of close to the Ashland area. So we got some issues right here. It got kind of destroyed on the outside. Like inside, you see this is where this is how it looks. It's a bit more finished, looks pretty massive. The idea behind this was to make it very durable, very massive bunker. And we have very thick walls. And also there's like underground section. This is actually the underground section, by the way. We're underground right now. As you can see, we have some workstations, you know, some storage. We're going upstairs here. And you see here where it begins, we got some more workstations, the beds, storage, and all that. Now, here's the crazy thing about this bunker. This is the actual thickness of the bunker, right? See, that's massive. I lay down 3 layers of these blocks, marble blocks. However, some of it is destroyed on the outside because the terrain was changed. This is the actual gate. So this is basically the thickness. It's insane. But I'm not gonna go outside yet. I'm just gonna show you the inside first. Go upstairs. Gonna be another stage. Now this is where we got the smelters and things like that. And then we have this for the smoke to escape. So now I've actually learned how to build these smelters inside your base, like literally indoor. I got the workstations, and also we have this, which is from the Mistland. That's another kind of a refinery thing, which does a lot of damage to other structures. That's why you kind of cover it up with a lot of marble as much as you can from every side possible, so that the marble is actually immune to the damage. It actually does damage to your structures. So if you don't cover it up with marble as much as you can, you're gonna destroy your base basically. You can see here we already have some things that are kind of destroyed, but this happened afterwards anyway. And then you have these kind of small areas. Maybe this is for defensive structures. Obviously, as you can see, a lot of it is once again destroyed, but there might have been some enemies as well, so we're gonna get to that. And this is basically the highest floor right now. You can see I've covered up with a lot of turrets and other things as well. Also, we get these smelters, which we created this sort of shaft where when you feed them, they'll drop the coal right down the shaft, and this is going to be very easy to access. These are the chimneys for the smelters, and we also have the chimney for the fireplace is actually, just go down here, going back to the main building. This is the shaft where the coal is coming from, and then we feed it to the smelters. That's a really nice idea. Then going all the way down, you're gonna see technically this is the main fireplace, and there is a chimney that goes on the side. We're gonna go outside now just to show you how it looks. So that's the bunker, and here we have some issues, of course. So basically, around here, this is the chimney on the main area. This is where the smoke is coming from. It looks a bit weird, but it's fine. From this small area right here is where we feed these with arrows. Like we're going in here, and we're now back in the main area. So this is like a defensive strategy point. And now that's the area that's part of the Mistlands. It's like on the middle. It's in between Mistlands and this. Obviously, that's kind of a cut area. This didn't look like that when I was making the map, by the way. So that's why it's just changed basically. There's a connection to the deep north and so on. This is why we have all these issues right here. You see in the bottom, a lot of it is completely destroyed because the terrain was just completely changed, which is the sad part, as you can see. It's pretty bad. Pretty much the same thing going on around here. So the inside was covered, and then we have underground, but the outside, too bad. But you know, that was the idea, and this was massive. It looks very big, but it's actually thick, and inside is not as big as it looks on the outside. So that was this idea. So we're gonna go back and I'm gonna show you the most interesting areas in the game. So there is one other area that's kind of unfinished, but also very good concept, is the high castle. And I wanted to make the a castle in the mountain, like the highest points that I could find. And this is where we got, like, this is actually next to the castle, and it doesn't really look like a castle. It's more like another tower, but it has a somewhat better idea, I would say. There was supposed to be something like a bridge around here. But that's how it looks. It's more of a tower right now because it's kind of unfinished. And this was natural formation out there, like you get it from the game. So you got this area right here with the fire we wanted to make. And then we go in, completely empty because once again I completely abandoned it. Going down there. This is one of the floors, you see. Then you can go further down from here if you want. All the way down, and then we're gonna get to this area, but then we're going back. And there's supposed to be another lower level, but actually there isn't. So I completely abandoned everything, man. All the time. Yeah, basically that's the that's the lower floor. There's nothing else going on. And this was at the time some of the highest points that I managed to find in the game. And now the most interesting areas that we're gonna find. Okay, so the first area is called the hut. So those are the biggest projects that I made in the game. It took me quite a lot of time to make them. This one is a bit more rough, but the next one is even more interesting. So the hut, this is the like an underground section of that base. Going up, that's like the main area right here. Looks a bit more well made. We have the fireplace, it's like a lot of workstations, things like that. And that's like the main sleeping area. Then we have a second floor also, but it's nothing special, just like it's supposed to be for maybe extra storage. And now we're gonna go outside. This is the main section. We also have a storage area. Now it's a bit more rough. We don't have that many signs. This is before I've learned to play around with the signs and you know, all these settings. That's a bit higher, a bit better looking area here for the smelters and stuff like that. Then going down here, that's kind of a kitchen. Also looks pretty rough at this point, but still inside it's okay. We have a little bit of a farm right here, like bees and these windmills, and there's this. It's completely empty right now. This was kind of abundant. There was things in here. And then we have the docking station right here, which is okay. Perfect, fine. Very simple, very it's nothing special, but it's functioning. Then we also have managed to get a logs farm, as you can see. But of course they destroyed a lot of things, but yeah, that was a logs farm. Then we're going outside. That's the other side of the base. That's how it looks on this side, as you can see. That's a small section with a chest. And then right here, interestingly enough, cellar, where we actually have chickens. You see? Right underneath the main building. And that's about it. It's not a big, massive area, but it's good enough. I was planting trees around here, doing some foresting. Obviously these as well. Then you kind of cut them down, get them for resource. And that's about it. So going back in the main area, and I'll show you the biggest thing I've ever built in the game. I've called it the lodge, or just lodge anyway. It looks crazy. The whole idea was interesting. I've decided to find an island and completely occupy the whole island. This is where it is. Literally the whole island is a base. So we're gonna go outside and then we're gonna go in and just show you all the stuff. So going around like this. Let's go with the looks. Here we only have just about 8,000 instances, so it's not really that much, but we're gonna look through it. So this is kind of a docking station, but not exactly, very simple one. Just getting some stuff in here. It's actually plain, so you can use it to farm almost all the things except from the mistlands. You got the windmills, the bees. That's kind of just a small area for the farming stuff. And then we go to the main building. It's one massive longhouse, which the idea behind it was to get smaller structures inside of it. and that's why it's very open. If you look at it, like it's like not actually closed because there's like small structures inside. So the whole idea right here is, you see right here, this is the kitchen. It's very tight, but it's working just fine. You got a lot of storage, stuff like that. And then going right here, got something like a cellar for the fermenters, for the barrels. Then we're going around here. You see that's like more storage stuff and things like that. You got another door right here. Then around this section, there's the workstations and even more storage there. It's actually the same thing. And that is like the main resting area with beds and everything. Then we go in here. That's a little bit of storage. So that's kind of a structure, as you can see. Inside of it's like a mini house inside of this massive area. Going here, that's the portals. We got some portals, not too many. It's a bit tight. And then we go extra storage right here. Small chests, nothing special. We got roofs as well. And then we going in right here. That's more of a trophy room where you drop some stuff like that. Then we can even go on top, on the rooftop. Right here, it's nothing special, but you have this kind of connection. This is just for working stuff, for working purposes. You have the same thing on the other side. Right here. Again, just for working and things like that. Now here you see you got these open areas. That's kind of chimneys. Now I'll show you what I mean by that. There's even more right here. Like a couple of open areas like that. So we're gonna go in right now. And we're going all the way down here. We go from here to there. And we see this is like another area over there for more trophies, things like that. This is completely empty. You could have made anything right here. Those are the actual chimneys. And we see going down right here. This is another way of me making the smelters and stuff like that being inside, like literally indoor. And we got the chimneys for them so that the smoke is escaping all the way around here. Then technically this was supposed to be mounts because yeah, you got locks, you can actually mount it, but it's not. It's just a bit weird because they're moving around, they're destroying stuff. Pretty difficult. It's not that easy to play around with them. I wanted to have them completely open, but now you have to make it like that. You have to always jump on top, but it's not a big deal. That's like a main road going through that long house that's actually open, as you can see. And from this way we go to the other side where we got this kind of a locks enclosure. It's a massive locks enclosure, by the way. I was doing a lot of locks farming back then. That's just like a small area before that, like small house. On top it has to be a bit higher because they can destroy it easily. And then you see we got a bunch of them, quite a lot, and they're slowly destroying things as well. But yeah, that's kind of a okay area. Then we go out and you're gonna see this right here, which is basically the harbor, so to speak. It looks a bit more interesting than the other areas that I had before. Also some working stations, and it's actually a bit wider and a bit bigger. Got storage and things like that. And now, why did I make these, by the way? Kind of levers, but not exactly. Basically, you can easily push the ship back or port if you want to basically take it out. But you gotta be careful because you can end up leaving outside too much. Of course, you can always just control it a little bit, but this is kind of a easy way to do it. So that was the biggest thing I've made, the biggest project basically. Looking from this angle, it's massive. We used iron beams because it's there's no way to go that high, by the way. And it took quite a lot of time. It took ages, by the way. Also, we used that rock a little bit as natural shelter, by the way. And we got all these trees as well. We placed them here because you don't see those trees in plains anyway. So those are most of the main things that I want to show you. I've got a small bonus here in the end. I'll just show you. I managed to make this one. It's kind of weird, but yeah, it did work. Literally used the rock, this massive rock in the plain. We destroyed some of it. And then we kind of covered some part as well, and we digged a little bit deeper. So we made something like an underground base. It's not massive, but obviously we got some chests in here, some workstations, so on and so on. And then this is kind of the resting area as well. Obviously you can't really make too many things, but it's decent enough. You got this fire, but the problem is getting the smoke to escape. But you know, this is just for fun anyway. So with that being said, guys, that was the small tour of pretty much most of the bases that I have in Valheim. That's like many hours, by the way. And I was playing around with other things as well. I spent ages in this game actually. We don't have anything for Ashlands because on this particular map I stopped playing before Ashlands came. So that's it for this one. I'm gonna remind you once again, I'm gonna make this new series of Valheim builds, and I'm gonna be posting some interesting builds whenever I can. If you like stuff like that, if you like building, then that's gonna be great for you. So that's gonna be for this video, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification button if you want to see more content like that, and see you next time.